Welcome back to Ration Nerd, everyone. Thanks for coming to spend some of your Sunday with this guy. And you know, I absolutely had to get into this Brazilian ration. Why? Well, because I was denied twice, and the third time must be a charm. This is a 24-hour combat ration from Brazil, menu number 1. This should be beef stroganoff and beans with sausage. Definitely could be a culinary delight or a culinary disaster. We will certainly see. And it was definitely one hell of a time getting one of these, so I am absolutely looking forward to this. So if you can appreciate the fact that I am scouring the planet for the best rations to bring to you, you can do me a big fat favor. You can hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, talk to me in the chat. It is always good to hear from you guys. Now let's bust in to this menu number 1, 24-hour Brazilian ration. Kind of excited about this one. Been looking forward to this for quite some time. Now the date is really hard to read. Looks like it does not expire until December of 2024. That's extraordinarily hard to read on the top of that bag, but we're just going to have to break in and figure out if everything made it here intact. It certainly was not ravaged by our buddies in that department which shall not be named. And as difficult as it was to get one of these fuckers, I don't want to destroy the bag, so I'm going to try to be gentle with it. So let's see what we are working with. So it looks like these come in modules, so that's pretty awesome. So this is going to be the breakfast and lunch portion. So that's this module is breakfast and lunch in this big old bag. Then we have an accessory kit. That's pretty cool. I don't know if that's just really crinkly or if we lost something in there. Hopefully not. We have an accessory kit. Then we have our supper/dinner module. That's pretty awesome. And that's it for this big ass bag. All right, well, it was great seeing you guys here on Ration Nerd. Until next time, psych. So we'll sit breakfast, lunch over here and dinner, supper over here. Let's bust into this accessory kit first. Right out of the gate. Right out of the gate, we have a pack of matches. It looks like 40 of those suckers. Nice bright green tips. There is a striker on each side of the box. The box itself feels kind of janky, like completely out of square, but that's okay. Striker on both sides, that's pretty smart. So we got some matches. We have a spoon. We have some alcohol gel for our stove. That's awesome. And speaking of stoves, here's our stove. This is an Esbit style folding stove, but we have alcohol gel for that sucker. We have 6 water purification tablets. Always smart to have some... Wait, I take it back. We have 5. One of these blisters did not receive its water purification tablet. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but it certainly does not look like it was intentional. It looks like that was just a mispack. So we have 5 water purification tablets. We have 4 Clean Touch alcohol wipes. And we have a destruction sheet. Nobody needs destructions. Well, maybe I do, but we're not using them. And we have 1 more spoon, so that is it for the accessory kit. I'm going to get all this stuff moved over to the side here so we can get into breakfast. Well, this is breakfast and lunch, not just breakfast. So we have some farina. I'm imagining you could either do this for breakfast or add it to your main. Not 100% sure. We'll figure it out as we go along. But we have a small pack of farina. That's 40 grams. We have a very sticky guava candy. This is a very squishy, like fruit candy. Very squishy, 30 grams of guava fruit candy. That's pretty awesome. I hope that's still good. I hope the jam didn't burst in here. And we have another 40-gram package of farina, ever so slightly sticky. We have another guava candy, which is definitely sticky. Looks like one of these guys got a little bit smashed. That is very interesting. Oh, look at the little puppy. There's a little puppy on there. That's so cute. This is Salada de Frutas. This is a milky fruit drink. I'm definitely looking forward to that. That might be on the breakfast plate. Look at that guy right there, little puppy dog. That's so cute. That's great. Me, being me, typing on the interwebs a lot, the first thing I see is like laughing my ass off because it was LM. Yeah, you get it. So we have an isotonic beverage. This looks like it's lime flavored. That is epic. I love lime flavored stuff. We have a seriously vacuum pack of crackers here. Biscotto cream crackers. I'm really surprised those kept that vacuum seal. Hopefully that makes the crackers actually stay more intact and they're not just like cracker dust. And we have a grape drink. That's excellent with that little puppy dog guy on there. Apparently the Brazilians are really fond of their cartoon characters. That's pretty awesome. This is probably a commercially available drink in Brazil. I'm not really sure how a military ration, you get little puppy dogs on there, but you know, you do what you do. So we have some grape drink. That's excellent. A pack of motherfucking coffee. That's what I'm talking about. Coffee in the morning. I can't wait. I gotta have to boil some water. That's what I'm talking about. Cafe con latte. This is awesome. This is a coffee, cream, and sugar. Definitely can't wait to get into that. That is 40 grams of wholesome goddamn goodness in the morning. And this seems to essentially be a 3-in-1 coffee or like a 3-in-1 latte. That is super awesome. I'm really stoked now. My energy levels are actually rising in the morning just because I'm seeing that pack of coffee. And this 3-in-1 coffee, I'm already feeling a little energetic. Haven't even put it to my lips yet. You know I need it. I can barely do this unboxing because I haven't had any coffee yet. And that, my friends, is total bullshit. But I sacrifice it all for you guys, I swear. We have some strawberry jam, which is sticky, but you know what? That is not squirting out from anywhere, so this does not seem to be the one that made the rest of the content sticky. And so far we have 2 packs of sugar. That's awesome. A cookies and cream protein bar. Got to give that a little bite. And we have another strawberry jam, which again seems to be sealed, which is crazy. It had to have been one of these candies that's just squishing out of the package. We'll figure out which one it is. We'll not eat that one, or maybe we will. And then last in the pack, we have our main, which is that beef stroganoff. And this is 2 retorts in here. So we have our beef stroganoff as well as some rice. We have a little stain on that bag. That's never any good. No leakage from the retort pouch, so that's excellent. We do have, it looks like something, whatever was sticky in here just kind of got on the ration. That's okay. Shit happens. I'm going to move breakfast off to the side so we can see what is in the dinner supper pack. And let's get into dinner and or supper. It looks like we have a pack of hot chocolate. That's pretty awesome. And we have more coffee. God damn it, I can't wait to get into some coffee. Teasing me with all this coffee this early in the morning. This is bullshit. And we have some orange drink and our cute little puppy friend who's come back for another visit. Most excellent. And we have another lime isotonic beverage. Certainly not hurting for drinks in this ration at all. And we have a banana fruit bar. That is interesting. That's a small 30-gram bar. Definitely can't wait to get in and try that. I'm not the biggest fan of bananas on the planet, but you know what? This is new to me, and I'm really excited about it. And we have another pack of those cream crackers, which certainly did not survive the journey the same way that first pack of crackers did. Here is the breakfast pack, which was definitely still nice and vacuum sealed. And here is our dinner package, which took some abuse. But you know what? I do have 3 of these rations. And one of them, of the other 2 that were rated by those cocksuckers, might still have a vacuum-sealed pack of crackers in it. We'll bust into one of those, see if we can find some excellent crackers and pretend like this nonsense never happened. And we have another one of those cookies and cream protein bars. This definitely took some abuse in shipping. It has been completely smashed and flattened out. That's okay. It all goes into the same hole. Excellent. We have a guava jam, which is awesome. Still intact. That's even better. And we have another guava jam that just seems to have barely made it. I tell you, these jam containers are about the worst. And when you put them just loose and rattling around inside of a bag like that, these things are just doomed to get beat to death. And it looks like we have our beans and sausage main. And that also has a pack of rice with it. So we have a big old pack of rice and our beans and sausage main. And of course, we have 2 packs of sugar. Well, everyone, this big mess is everything inside of a combat operational ration pack from Brazil. I am going to get some breakfast out onto a tray. I'm super excited to crack into that coffee, and I will be right back. Well, I guess before we start breakfast, we should really check out this bitchin' little alcohol stove. If I were me, that's what I would do. So this thing is pretty thin and flimsy, but it certainly looks like it will work. Let's see how much water we can't screw up on this ration stove. Check out that alcohol gel. Oh, just pooped right out of there. That's good stuff. We're going to put a bunch in there because, well, I really want some hot water and I want a bunch of it. Because if you couldn't tell, we are definitely having some coffee. You knew we were having some coffee. You completely understood there was going to be coffee. So we're having coffee. We're also going to have that farina for breakfast. I know farina here in the United States as cream of wheat. I'm hoping that's what this is because that's what I'm planning on doing, is making this into some hot breakfast cereal along with the sugar. So we're going to light this up and see if we can't get some hot goddamn water by checking out those matches. Well, it wasn't exactly strong. That lit right up. Oh, that's definitely going. Look at that. Proof positive. Let's see if, well, roughly about a third of that alcohol gel will boil this water for some coffee. So if you haven't already figured it out, we are absolutely having coffee. We're having some grape drink. We're going to give one of these leaky guava candies a try. We're going to have some farina made into hot cereal along with that sugar dumped in. We're going to try out that strawberry jam with these cream crackers. And I'll be right back with you guys as soon as that starts to boil. Unless you'd really like to sit here with me and just, well, watch water get hot. Wait, no? For real? Fine. We won't spend any time together. That water is either right on the edge of boiling or will be boiling any second now. So we're going to start off by making up that coffee without any doubt. And what I've decided to do is add both of the breakfast coffee drinks together because I want this to taste like coffee and I want it to be a really good cup. Doesn't have much of a smell, to be honest. I was kind of expecting a little bit more vibrant coffee smell. Didn't get that on this one. Let's take a look at that. It almost looks like a freeze dried, but it has some of the characteristics of spray dried. I don't know. We're just going to get it in there. And we're going to get a cup of coffee in this face hole so I can learn how to talk again. I mean, that's assuming I knew how to talk in the first place. And we're definitely going to check out this grape drink. That says to add to 500 mils, and we'll get it, well, pretty damn close. That's nice and purple. That looks good. Let's get a sniff of that. Oh, that smells amazing. Wow. Okay, looking forward to that as well. Let me see if I am correct about this farina. I'm hoping that I am. If not, well, I guess we open it up for nothing and we can rearrange breakfast a little bit. That looks just like cream of wheat. That's excellent. So we are having, basically, some cream of wheat for breakfast. I tell you what, I really do like the alcohol rather than Esbit tablets. One thing I can say is that if there was any wind in my studio, which there's not, if there was any wind, I'm not sure that would have worked as well. So I think it would be much better. Like an Esbit tablet would have been slightly better. If it were windy, I think it might have blown that out, whereas Esbit tablets have a tendency just to stay lit even under some wind. And we're getting ready to have some boiling water, which is always nice. We're going to chuck that sugar in our breakfast cereal. Let's check out these crackers. Those were under a serious vacuum. These ought to taste pretty fresh being under that kind of vacuum. That's pretty awesome. They look excellent. Nice and toasty, only a little bit broken. That vacuum seal is definitely the way to go. Well, we have a couple of busted up crackers in there. That is okay though. Let's get a little bite of these crackers and see what we're working with. Definitely a nice toasty appearance on those guys. It's definitely different than what I was expecting. There's either some kind of seasoning in here. It almost has a little bit of a toasted cheese flavor. And no, that's not any kind of rancidity or anything. It's either the way they were toasted or whatever seasonings were added to the flour. That ought to be pretty interesting with that strawberry jam. Well, let's see what this big squishy guava candy is all about. That's crazy. It's almost like a pack of jelly, but it's too hard to be jelly. It's definitely an odd consistency. This is going to make an absolute mess out of me trying to open this thing up, but that's okay. So that is not something you would grab in and pull out by hand. Look at that. It's just a gelatinous guava mess. That's excellent. Get that right out there. Splop. Let's get one of these kind of dinky spoons out of here. I actually think the wrapper might be stronger than the spoon. That's a pretty stout wrapper for such a cheesy spoon. We're going to get a taste of this guava jelly, guava gel, guava candy. guava something or the other. That is absolutely excellent. If you've never had guava, to me, in my opinion, guava is just kind of a generic fruit flavor. Maybe to some it has a specific flavor. To me, it's just sweet and pulpy and kind of a subdued fruit flavor. It's excellent though. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's great. You can tell that's all natural. Lots of fruit pulp and maybe some seeds in there. Fruity gel bar of just yummy guava goodness. That right there, that's excellent. Let's check out this strawberry jam. I figured we would do 1 pack for breakfast and 1 pack for lunch. Probably going to carry some of these crackers over. Not a whole lot of jam in there. That's okay. A nice little strawberry jam for breakfast. Let's get a little taste of that on its own. That's super thick, ultra sweet, very natural strawberry flavor. That's very likely some of the most natural tasting strawberry jam I think I've had to date in a ration. It's a little bit on the sweet side, and it's absolutely got a concentrated strawberry flavor that'll definitely knock your socks off. That's excellent stuff right there. I'm going to get some of that on one of these biscuits or crackers, whatever the hell you want to call them. That's so sweet. I'm going to spread it kind of thin. So the one good thing about it being so sweet is the fact that you probably can spread it thin even on these crackers and still make a big difference, because that jam is absolutely crazy sweet. Take a look at that yumminess right there. And even with that savory flavor that those crackers have, that strawberry jam just absolutely won the battle. And that is a tiny little bit of strawberry jam on a cracker. That is an excellent addition. That's yummy as hell. Well, I found a good use for these destructions because it's too early for this wait and shit. Our fuel is almost gone, and my patience for waiting for this water to boil has certainly evaporated. So it is absolutely time to make this damn coffee. Perfect. A little bit of jam on the end, never hurt nobody. Get that in the farina, get that all stirred around. And that is definitely exactly what that is. It translated to cassava flour. That's absolutely every bit 2 packs or 80 grams of cream of wheat. Got to stir that coffee. Look at that. And we definitely have to hydrate that grape drink. That smelled amazing. All right, now that everybody's ready, we've got our cereal mixed up, we've got our drink, and our coffee poured. You know what time it is. It's time for me to have a sip of this coffee. You know I haven't had it. You absolutely know I need it. I've been stumbling over words. I've edited out so many fuck-ups already because why? Why? You ask why, you fucking know why. Because I haven't had a drink of this coffee yet. This will probably solve the issue. My mouth may actually work properly as soon as I get some of this in my face hole. So stay tuned. Let's try some of this coffee. Hells yes, that is really good. I'm absolutely glad and kind of sad at the same time that I mixed the coffee with that 3-in-1. It has a really strong, very rich coffee flavor, nice and nutty. The mix base that is in, the 3-in-1, is extremely creamy, almost milkshake-like, or more like a hot chocolate consistency. It can't take any more water or it'll dull the flavor of the coffee, but it's mildly sweet with the additional coffee added. I imagine without adding that extra pack of coffee, it would have kind of been too sweet. I'm very glad that I added that coffee. I'm going to go back and get some more. Maybe these rented lips I'm rocking right now will actually begin to work. That coffee has a little bit of a caramel undertone to it. I'm not much into foo-foo coffee. I don't want flavored coffee in the morning. I want coffee-flavored coffee. But it's not too bad. Absolutely. Has just a little hint of caramel aftertaste to it. This is still really good. I need some more of it. That's so much better. Now let's bust in to this breakfast, farina, cereal, whatever you want to call it. This is just like cream of wheat here in the United States. And there are those of you that might be cussing me right now saying, you really should have put that on top of the main. Well, I'm not. I made breakfast with it. That's what we're doing. I'm not a big fan of just dumping cassava flour, which is what they call this in Brazil, on top of a main. It's kind of bland. This is a little nuttier than cream of wheat here in the United States, and that's just fine by me. Let's get a taste of this Brazilian cream of wheat and see what that is bringing to breakfast. So that is super thick. That is the way I like it. Take a look at that. Big old spoonful of cream of wheat. That's definitely much nuttier than the farina or cream of wheat that we have here in the US. That's kind of a welcome flavor though. It's actually really good. It's like a cream of wheat with, I don't know, like toasted walnuts in it or something. That's actually pretty good. I think the next logical thing to do would be to put some of this guava jelly bar thing in here with it. Get a big old bite like that. Absolutely. It is like a sweet, fruity, nutty bite of cream of wheat. That's off the hook. That's yummy. And you know we got to try it with this strawberry jam. This stuff is super sweet. We're just going to mix a bit of that in there and give it a couple of bites like that. This ought to be really good. A strawberry breakfast bite. The strawberry is a much stronger flavor than the guava, much more noticeable, whereas the guava is just randomly sweet and fruity. That strawberry flavor in there, though, that's amazing. I'm not a big breakfast guy, but this stuff is just so interesting. I'm pretty happy to be having it for breakfast. And it just put some coffee in my face hole, so I feel a whole lot better. Having something like this farina in the morning, like these 2 packs by themselves are almost 400 calories. Then you throw in however many crackers you're going to get into, some of this jam that you're absolutely throwing in this farina. This is a great breakfast item. This stuff will fill you up. It's already filling me up, and I'm not even halfway through it. And you know we got to try this grape drink. This stuff looks amazing. Oh, wow. I mean, wow. That grape drink is absolutely fabulous. That's not Kool-Aid. That literally tastes like grapes. It's, I mean, obviously a lot sweeter than a real grape would be, but there is no doubt in my mind that real grapes were harmed in the making of this grape drink, because that literally tastes like grape juice, just slightly sweeter than real grape juice should be. That stuff is absolutely fucking amazing. I can't believe we can't put something like this in a pouch for our guys here. Brazil is rocking out with this really natural tasting grape beverage. I'm not even going to call it a grape drink. I'm certainly not going to call it Kool-Aid. That would be an absolute insult. This stuff is amazing. Hell yes, that is good. Well, guys, this breakfast was definitely very interesting. That jam is off the hook. I'm going to have another 1, maybe 2 of these crackers. We're going to carry the rest of those over to lunch. I'm going to finish off my cream of wheat and that awesome guava jelly bar. That grape drink, honestly, doesn't stand a goddamn chance. That stuff is amazing. Stick around. I'll be back in a few hours with some lunch. All right, everybody, we are back with some lunch. I am absolutely more awake now. My breakfast video probably sucked it real bad because I didn't realize exactly how brain dead I was this morning before I had some coffee. So we're definitely more awake now. We're going to crack into some lunch. So let's just get to it and quit with the babbling. We are going to have that fruity, milky fruit salad drink, which I'm really looking forward to. Some lime isotonic beverage. We have another one of those guava candies. Don't care if it was leaking. It's too damn good to leave behind. We have another strawberry jam. We have the leftover crackers from breakfast. We have a cookies and cream protein bar. And, as you know, we have some beef stroganoff with rice. And yes, I said stroganoff and meant every second of it. So let's start out by making up that lime isotonic beverage. And I tore that package open like a heathen. I didn't mean to tear it open like that, but I certainly did. So I just opened it right up to the atmosphere. And a fruit salad drink. That definitely looks like a milky drink. That ought to be pretty interesting. I'm gonna get all that fruity, milky goodness out of there. Come on out. Come on out. That was a real pain in the ass to get out of the bag. And that lime drink calls for 500 mils of water. And that fruit salad drink calls for 250. And that spoon is short as hell, so we're going to call in some reinforcements. Little United Nations spoon action. Let's check out that cookies and cream protein bar. Well, that's a chocolate-coated bar. That's awesome sauce. Let's just go straight for the stick. Let's get all sticky and get this guava jelly bar out onto the tray. Definitely messy, but worth every bit of the stick, no doubt. You know, there really aren't any napkins in this ration, except for these alcohol wipes, and that's kind of a bitch. So I guess since we got sticky fingers, we can check out one of these Clean Touch alcohol wipes. And that's definitely a lot tougher than your average alcohol wipe. It's a much thicker, tougher fabric. Very small, though. Whoo, and that smells, whoo, that does not smell like old grandma, which is very refreshing. So once this dries, it'll leave you smelling like nothing, but it'll definitely knock the stickiness off of your hands without any doubt. We will prep that strawberry jam because we'll definitely be screwing those crackers up with this strawberry jam. And we're going to try not to burn ourselves when we get these mains out of the package. So this is the rice, and it is hot as hell. Of course, the tear notch is on the other side, so that way I have to burn my fingers just a little bit more to get that rice out of there. Whew. That was, that's a gelatinous, well, it smells really inviting, though. I have to say that. It smells like well-cooked rice, which is good. Trying to chop that up so it kind of looks like rice, that's a tall order. This spoon is not necessarily up to the task, and that rice is really stuck together. Well, I guess before we dump the main on top of it, let's get a little bit of this rice. Let's get a bite and see what that tastes like. That nice little gelatinous rice mess right there. Oddly enough, that rice actually tastes like it's buttered and salted. Not heavily, but it definitely has a butter and salt flavor to it. That's excellent. That's better than just plain rice. Like if you got stuck just eating that by itself, the only thing that would be off-putting about that is that like gelatinous texture. Otherwise, that's pretty decent rice. Ow. Let's see what we have here in this beef stroganoff. Oh, it's coming out of there whether I liked it or not. Wow. Okay, making a mess. Yep, making a mess all over the place. That's a good... Yep. That's a really good portion. Of course, combined with the rice makes it look even bigger. That is all over the place. We just made a fabulous mess. But what did you expect? All right, well, I guess we better move some of this around because otherwise it's just going to be a super mess. Like we've already like screwed up the ration table. That's okay. So we are going to just get in here and get a bite of this because we kind of need to get some of it out of the way. We do have some beef, which is nice. A couple of larger pieces. That's always good. Get away from my strawberry jam. We definitely have this nice sauce that has a pretty decent fat content. Nice and creamy. We have a bunch of mushrooms in here, which is pretty nice. We have some beef. Beef is always good, especially a beef stroganoff. So other than the mushrooms and the beef, there's not a whole lot else going on in here. So it's mushrooms, beef, and a creamy sauce. We're going to get a big old bite, try to break some of this rice off by itself. So we'll try to get a mushroom, a hunk of rice, and a hunk of that beef if it will cooperate. Let's try not to drip this nuclear hot beef stroganoff all over me. Take a look at that right there. Not too shabby looking. Let's get a taste on that. I'm definitely not a big fan of the mushrooms. The mushrooms in this got kind of spongy and strange. I mean, I could eat them because they don't really have a flavor on their own, to be fair. It's just a weird texture. Kind of have to move everything out of the way so everything doesn't become beef stroganoff flavored. But together, with that slightly salty and buttery rice, this is actually really good. The one thing I can say, there's no pepper in here. So this doesn't need salt at all, but it could certainly use a pack of pepper. It is a bummer that there's no seasonings in either the breakfast, lunch, or the dinner, supper portion. So that's kind of a bummer, but this is pretty damn good. And it's definitely a nice, savory, creamy sauce. A little bit one-dimensional in the flavor. That's why I would like to really see some pepper added to this ration. That rice is really good. It's just such a pain in the ass to try to break it up into like usable chunks. Even though this rice is really good, it actually has a good taste all on its own. It's kind of a bummer that it's just together in one big gelatinous pile. I have a feeling these crackers, with that savory kind of toasted cheese flavor they have going on, are going to go really well with the sauce from this main. Let's give that a look. Yeah, that cracker absolutely goes well with the main. Just dipping the whole thing in a big old hunk of the main is where it's at. That's a nice savory cracker. Not the best cracker for pairing with jam, but certainly a good cracker nonetheless. So as the type of people that we are, that either do this hobby or enjoy watching this hobby, we certainly have a tendency to think that everybody's rations are better than our own. But I can see with this having only 5 menu variations, depending on how many times you got this beef stroganoff, you might get a little tired of it after a while. There's really not much in the way of exciting flavor in here. It's pretty unidimensional in its flavor. Like once you've tasted it once, you've tasted it for every bite throughout the rest of the dish. And I'm really not picking on this main. It's actually pretty good. It's better than a lot of other mains that I've had. Yeah, the texture of that rice is just a little lackluster combined with this flavor. The rice is just a little bit too gelatinous. Lends itself to being kind of weird unless you have a big old hunk of beef in there to go with it. The Brazilians need to reach out to the South Koreans, because those South Koreans have some crazy rice magic going on in their rations. If you've not seen a South Korean ration reviewed before, I've got a review here on this channel. You'll see exactly what I mean when you look at the way South Korean rice comes out. This is a far cry from that. This gelatinous rice really doesn't help. It's really just more of a texture thing. If you don't have a piece of beef in the bite, it's just really gelatinous and kind of weird. And that really is a shame, considering it seems like you get rice with each one of the mains in this ration. The name of the game is getting a soldier to sit down to one of these every day for as many days as is necessary for him to eat out of a bag and actually eat all the contents so he gets all the nutrition. One thing I am noticing is that beef is a little on the tough side. It's not at all dry, which is nice. It is a bit of a tough chew. Let's wash some of that down and reset the taste buds with some of this lime isotonic beverage. That's surprising in the fact that it's not great. That grape drink would have led me to believe that this was going to be absolutely epic. This kind of tastes like lemon lime floor cleaner, if I'm being honest. It's not the worst thing on the planet. It's certainly not the best isotonic beverage I've ever had. It's just kind of middle of the road. Don't know if I'll actually finish that whole thing because it's just not that great. I was really expecting great things after that grape drink with breakfast, but it's just not all that in a bag of chips. Now let's try this fruit salad milky beverage. I'm really looking forward to giving this a try. This looks really interesting. Nice like somewhere between pink and orange. This is awesome. Oh my God. Holy shit. That is an awesome, wonderfully vibrant fruit flavor. Really creamy from the milk base that's in that drink. That's really hard to describe. That is literally like the taste of a bottom of a bowl of fruit salad, but in all of the best ways. It kind of tastes like all of the fruit juice that goes down to the bottom of a bowl of fruit salad. If you've ever just been curious and dunked your spoon in all that mix of fruit juices that falls down to the bottom of a bowl of fruit salad, it's like they took that, concentrated it into an essence, mixed it with some milk, added some sugar. That is vibrant and yummy. Quite honestly, I don't want to stop drinking it. That is an amazing drink. Now I'm really pissed that Customs took the guts of most of those other two rations, because they did take my fruit salad drink out of both of them. So those guys really sucked the cock. You know, texture and flavor wise, this is kind of a tough main to get to the other side of. Those mushrooms have gotten to the point, after eating so many of them, I'm just kind of picking them up and setting them off to the side, because they're like mushroom jello, and I'm just not into mushroom flavored jello. The rice by itself is already gelatinous enough as it is. Adding a gelatinous, spongy mushroom to the mix is just kind of unnecessary roughness. It's actually kind of off-putting after a while, like this gelatinous rice combined with like a smushy, spongy mushroom. I'd just rather not with the mushrooms. That's why I like to eat the whole main on camera. I know it makes for a longer video, but it also makes for a much more honest presentation. If I just took the first 3 bites of this and said, okay, great, I'll see you at dinner, you would know that as you progress through this main, it just gets a little bit harder to eat as you move along. Getting to the end of this main, even if I was really hungry, it's getting kind of tough if I'm being honest. And mainly because it's all just adopted. There's one flavor, and the texture of the rice is really the thing that's killing it. I just can't. That last bite, nope, just can't do it. It's totally a texture thing. I'm not doing it. I'm full. That rice and that, no more. No more. I just can't do any more of that. I mean, I know there's only a bite left, but I got as much of it as I could in the old face hole, and I've just had enough of that. I'm going to clean that taste out with some lemon lime floor cleaner. That was a welcome cleaning of the face hole compared to this. After a while, it was the texture and that same flavor that just kind of layered and layered and layered, and that gelatinous texture of the rice. Just at the end, it just got hard to put it down. That's a real shame. So far, I would definitely recommend getting one of these Brazilian rations if you can get one in the country without Customs fucking it up. Just for the simple fact, it has lots of different components, and it's a hell of a lot of fun. You never know. Your mileage may vary. You might be into gelatinous, weird, like smushy, mushroom, spongy things. That might be your jam. So your mileage may vary on that main. That certainly did not set me up properly for like a good afternoon. We're definitely going to give it like 3 or 4 or so hours before we decide to get into dinner. But let's give this protein bar a bite. This is the cookies and cream protein bar. I was super chewy. And that protein bar was a lot harder than I expected it to be. So if I were to do things differently, I certainly would have taken a smaller bite of that. One thing I can say is that really just tastes like kind of like a milk protein. There's no off-putting chemical taste to that. There's also no artificial sweetener aftertaste, which is pretty epic. As far as protein bars go, that actually tastes really good. It's certainly something to chew on. Probably should have had that with breakfast, but it does have a nice cookies and cream flavor, a decent aftertaste, no chemical weird flavors or artificial sweetener aftertaste. That's actually a pretty bitchin' protein bar. And you know we got to get a big old chunk of this guava jelly. That stuff is so good. Well, that was lunch. That was a little tough. That was a little tough to put down there at the end. I'm actually really surprised that main really turned on me. It's like it started out and I was pretty excited and pretty happy with it. And I don't know, 4 or 5 bites in, it just started to kind of go downhill and it got progressively worse the more of it that I ate. That's pretty rough. But that fruit salad milky drink, that is absolutely amazing. This is probably one of the best things I've had in a ration to date. Like, no shit, that is an amazing tasting drink. I will see you back here in 3 or 4 or so hours and then we'll get into dinner. All right, everybody, welcome back to dinner. So we're going to be wrapping up this ration. We've got our cookies and cream protein bar, that banana bar, 2 containers of guava jam. I was able to rescue an intact pack of the crackers out of one of the other rations that Customs robbed. We have the orange drink, hot chocolate, coffee. We also have another one of the lime isotonic beverages. Not really crazy about that one, so I'm just going to hang on to that. Maybe send it out to one of you guys. Well, because you're bitching and you deserve it. I've got the mains off to the side, keeping them warm while I make up the drinks. Let's start off with that orange drink. If this is anywhere near as good as the grape, I'm absolutely gonna love this guy. I tell you what, that grape was next level awesome. That was totally bitchin'. I really hope that this orange is somewhere as close to as good as the grape was. Let's check out this hot chocolate action. Seems like all the milky drinks in these rations, for some reason, the powder just wants to stay in the top of the bag. Like, it does not in any way, shape, or form want to cooperate with me. Trying not to make a mess, but that's, I don't know. That's just more or less impossible with me, not making a mess. I'm always making a mess. That's absolutely true. I don't know, that hot chocolate looked like it took on a little bit of moisture at some point. I'm a little worried about that, but we will go gently. It certainly smells good. It absolutely smells amazing. Now for that coffee. And there's not a whole lot of that coffee in there, so we're going to make it kind of small and kind of strong. So we're going to go ahead and get diabetes early in life, and we're going to chuck both packs of sugar in there. And those are only little 5-gram packs of sugar anyway, so not like it's that big of a deal. Maybe we not get diabetes today, maybe tomorrow, but not today. Don't hate, hydrate. And I'm definitely not trying to stick that tiny little spoon down in this orange, so we're going to borrow from the Danish. Before we even break out those mains, you know I got to get a sip of this coffee. I did add it to the 3-in-1 this morning for breakfast, so I do want to get a read on this just by itself. And that is a really nice, strong cup of coffee. It's pretty smooth, low in acidity, kind of bumming me out. However, it does have a really nice nutty flavor. That is definitely a quality freeze-dried coffee. Kind of sad that I added it to the 3-in-1 this morning, and I'm kind of not sad all at the same time. It definitely added some more coffee flavor to that 3-in-1. But this is a really good cup of coffee. It'd be even better if they gave you some goddamn cream. Coffee. I'm going to try a little bit of that hot chocolate while I'm drinking warm things. Believe it or not, even with the color, it looks a little... That hot chocolate is absolutely next level. It may not look like it's very strong. It may not translate on the camera really well, but that is extremely creamy. It actually has a milky taste, which is really awesome. The chocolate flavor is really pronounced, very smooth, almost like a little bit of a hint of dark chocolate, but it's extremely good. That's not overly sweet, extremely yummy. Probably some of the best hot chocolate I've had in a ration. That's right up there with Danish hot chocolate and Dutch hot chocolate. They're the same one in each ration. That's right up there with it, if not better. That's amazing. And since we're on a drink kick, we might as well go right for the orange. Let's check out this orange drink. And that is just as amazing as the grape. That actually somehow has a nice natural orange flavor. Does not taste like Tang, does not taste like Kool-Aid. If the Brazilians know how to do nothing else, they know how to make a damn powdered drink mix. That is absolutely amazing and tastes like natural fruit. They should have done something like that with this damn lime-flavored floor cleaner they gave you in this isotonic beverage. It's a shame they didn't incorporate those flavors into that isotonic beverage. Let's bust out these crackers. Even though I'm cheating, I took these from a different ration because, well, the ones that came in this ration were just all tore up. Well, it looks like even though I got the vacuum sealed pack, they're still a little busted up. Well, they did make it mostly intact, so the vacuum seal absolutely helps the cause. And whatever seasoning is in these crackers that makes them taste like toasted cheese is kind of a bummer. It's great when you have it with something savory. When you have it with something sweet, not that great. But you know what? They're still good crackers. Let's get this smashed cookies and cream protein bar out. It certainly would have been nice if they would have given you a different flavor protein bar, but cookies and cream is what you get. And that really looks like somebody just drove over it with a truck. That thing has definitely been through the smasher right there. I'm really interested to see what this banana bar is all about. Well, that's excellent. That looks like a fruit gel bar. That's crazy. That is very interesting. So we'll get out this little baby spoon. Like I said, I think the bag itself is tougher than the spoon. And while we are at it, right before we get those mains out, we're going to get some of this guava jam on a biscuit, because why not? Very thick. That didn't work out so awesome. That just was like fail sauce right there. But you know what? That's going to be... Jesus, that's going to be the sandwich. Ugh, what a mess. Let's try that again. This guava jam is definitely very thick. Not so easy to spread on these biscuits, especially if there's like a crack in the middle that you don't see. We are set up on biscuits, and we're thoroughly sticky now. And since I have some left on the spoon, let's get a taste of that guava jam. That absolutely tastes a lot more like guava, believe it or not, than that guava fruit paste or that guava fruit gel bar. That has a much more pronounced guava flavor. Very sweet, very thick. Guava's a really weird fruit as far as I'm concerned. Guava, to me, tastes somewhere between a melon and something not as sweet like a pear. It's an odd combination of those two flavors. And guava is certainly its own animal as far as flavors go. I'm just doing my best to try to explain it to you, to translate it into words, how this really tastes. That's not always the easiest thing to do, trust me. Now it's time to make a mess. I mean, get the mains out on the tray. Starting it out with that rice. Oh boy, and the more gelatinous rice. Or maybe not. This actually looks like a different style of rice. That's great. That rice earlier from lunch just was so, it was very, very gelled together and just had a really, well, crappy consistency. Hopefully this rice wins me back over. Maybe this rice will be different. I certainly hope so. And that rice certainly has that same butter and salt flavor profile, but it is not all gelled together like the rice we had earlier. This rice definitely has a lot more texture. It's still a retort pouch of rice, don't get me wrong, but it's certainly a whole lot better than the rice we had earlier. That gives me much higher hopes for this meal. And we got that beans and sausage. That certainly smells good. It has a smoked pork smell to it, which is definitely awesome. And we got the pink sauce that comes along with it. Let's just drizzle that all over the rice and see how much of a mess we are going to make. Well, maybe not as bad this time. I'm getting better. So this is strange. This is definitely pinto beans. Obviously, we have rice swimming in the bottom. And then this sausage almost looks like, well, sliced pepperoni. It's really thin. There's a good bit of beans in here. Certainly a healthy portion. That smells amazing. I really hope this is good. It smells great. I really think this ration is lacking in the condiment department. Like, give me some salt, pepper, hot sauce. Like, hook a brother up. Like, seriously. Well, let me just tuck right in. Stop talking about it. I'm going to shift this around before it gets covered in bean sauce because I can see that coming a mile away. So let's get some of that sausage, some beans. I mean, this is a pretty easy description. It's, sausage, well, pepperoni style sausage slices and beans in sauce. So that was pretty easy. Let's get a bite of this beans and sausage and see what that's bringing to the table. And for all that smoked pork smell, this meal is absolutely lacking salt. This would be a total winner. Absolutely simple, easy to eat meal. If there was some salt and pepper in the goddamn ration, what is their aversion to like giving guys some seasoning? This has a great base flavor of smoked pork. That sausage is not spicy. It's extremely easy to eat because it's so thin. Take a look at that guy. So very easy to eat, nice flavor, but this entire dish would be greatly enhanced by some salt and some pepper. It's a real bummer they give you this much food without a way to season it. It's kind of like my sticking point with this ration. I mean, luckily I like pinto beans. Otherwise, this might be kind of a miserable dinner. It's crazy. When you get a good bite of the rice, you can actually taste the slightly salty and buttery flavor of the rice, and it really helps. But it's swimming in that sauce, so it's kind of killing that salt content from the rice, which is a real shame. There's really not a lot of this sausage in here, so a majority of your protein content is going to come from the beans. And quite honestly, there could have been a lot more beans as well. There's not a lot of this sausage in here. It's very thinly sliced. It's very tasty. It's great. It's not spicy in any way, shape, or form. Very mild, more of just like a smoked pork flavor than sausage flavor. It's just very easy to eat. The sauce is nice, but it's not seasoned very well. So without having any seasonings to kind of liven it up, it is pretty one-dimensional. And this ration, having around 3,380 calories or so, definitely has a good bit of food for an active soldier. If you're trying to fuel a soldier, you got to make sure they're going to want to eat it. And this is, well, it's just slightly boring. Luckily, I'm kind of hungry, so we'll see what kind of dent we can put in this sausage and beans. I'm going to try to monopolize on that toasted cheese flavor of the cracker and see if I just can't put some cracker dust on this to maybe soak up a little bit of that sauce, maybe add some toasted cheese flavor to this main. This just needs something, and it's a shame because that something could have been included in the ration. We're going to try to dress it up a little bit with these oddly seasoned toasted cheese crackers. They're not really toasted cheese crackers, but they absolutely taste like it. Let's see if that helps out a little bit. And that's absolutely the way to go. You know what? Putting that cracker dust on there it just saved it. That slightly toasted cheese flavor that those crackers have really jazzed this up quite a bit and just brought a tiny little bit of texture and some much needed flavor. I would love to try this with some salt and pepper just so I could comment on it, but I try to stay true to what is included in every ration. They certainly need to reach out to Jamipsa and see how they do their like biscuit and cracker magic, because these things are very brittle. They break very easily. And that vacuum seal, although it keeps them fresh, it certainly doesn't keep them from getting just absolutely busted up on the way here. I'm pretty sure they only have 8 or 10 different menus in the Brazilian rations. Menus like this, without seasoning, would get really boring really fast. I kind of feel for those guys in the menu options department. Hopefully they don't have to eat these 24-hour rations on a regular basis. I was also able to get my hands on a Brazilian marine ration, so we're going to check that out here coming up in the future, but certainly not anytime soon. I've kind of had enough of Brazil. My sausage and beans needs more sausage. Let me clean this sludge out of the old face hole. I got to be honest with you guys, that main was kind of like a bad documentary. It was full of the macros, like it had all the information in there, but it was hard to start at the beginning and get to the end. And by the time you got there, you're absolutely full, but you didn't enjoy it at all. Kind of like a bad documentary. So let's move on to much better things. Let's try that guava jam on one of these strangely seasoned crackers. It's very strange. On their own, these crackers or biscuits have a really odd toasted cheese flavor that's overwhelming. And with this guava jam added, you really don't get any of that toasted cheese flavor until the absolute end. So that's pretty crazy. It's just amazing that guava jam just kind of deletes that flavor until the very end. Very interesting pair of flavors. I had to double up on that flavor experience. That was pretty epic. That hot chocolate. That hot chocolate really is some of the best I've had. Super milky, super chocolatey. That stuff is wonderful. And now we gotta check out this banana bar. This thing certainly looks interesting. Nice and dark, like an oxidized banana, which is kind of crazy. Definitely looks like a jelly bar. Get a little cross section of that thick guy right there. Almost looks like a brownie if you didn't know any better. Let's give this little banana fucker a try. And that's a really interesting flavor. The texture is kind of like a extra chewy jelly bar, and there's definitely an oxidized banana flavor in there, like when a banana sits out and starts to kind of brown. That's very interesting. I can't say that I love it, but I certainly don't dislike it. It does have a banana flavor. It's more of a overripe banana aftertaste, but it's extremely sweet. So if you're in the mood for something sweet, this will definitely knock it out. Nice and chewy, definitely different. I don't know that I'd want to have one of these every day. It would be a treat once in a while. That's just the way I feel about it. Your mileage may vary with banana bars, but you know what? It's certainly interesting to give it a try. Has a little bit of a banana flavor. It's just very interesting, gummy, chewy, and well, kind of overly sweet. And I guess since it's sitting out on the tray, we'll go ahead and get a bite of the smashed protein bar. And although it's the same exact protein bar that we had with lunch, it's still really good. Well, guys, that was dinner. I am absolutely going to finish that orange drink, albeit slowly. That hot chocolate certainly doesn't stand a chance. The protein bar is definitely going in the old face hole. That guy, nah, it's just not really me. I'm going to hang on to that guava jam because it's really yummy. I might kill that cheesy flavored cracker over there, and we'll hang on to this for next time I feel like, well, drinking some floor cleaner. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me for this Brazilian operational ration 24-hour menu number 1. This was certainly a mixed bag. There were some things that I really enjoyed. I mean, absolutely super unique and really were worth the cost of the ration. To be quite honest with you, that fruit salad drink pretty much was worth all the trouble I went through to go through this, because that is a super unique item. There was a lot of fun stuff in here. Some of the mains just weren't for me. It definitely lacked seasoning, which is a real pain in the ass. Coffee was good. Tons of drinks in this ration, but as with damn near every ration I open up, there's something I certainly would have added or removed from this ration. The main thing, my main gripe, was seasoning. This thing would have been way better if it had some seasoning, and some of those mains were just a little funky, but it was a good time. And you want to know why? Why was it a good time? Because you guys decided to come along for the ride. That makes it 100 times more fun. But you guys, you absolutely know how it goes. Am I correct? I'm correct. I know I'm correct. I couldn't possibly be wrong, because if you can find something cooler than this Brazilian 24-hour combat ration to put in your face hole, you know what to do. Eat 'em up.
And I want my leg hair back.